Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
And AHS season 1984, episode 2.
Holy fucking Casper's butthole, we got goats. I mean ghosts.
We got cows.
Oh god.
Cows.
Oh god.
Shit.
Oh god.
It was a bad episode.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, guys. I love the premise, and the first episode really shot it out your ass, but this one really kind of pulled back. And look, let's do some foreplay. Let's have sex afterwards. Let's get to know each other a little bit. Don't just blast me in the face with your lovin's.
God, I've been there.
Jesus, I've done it to somebody. I didn't mean to though. It was an accident. But yeah, I mean, okay, so it goes immediately from where the first one left off, which isn't always a bad thing, but I felt like I wanted it to be more in the same vein they were keeping. I wanted to have them have fun. They're going to go out on the beach and the lake area and swim and talk about boys and girls and fucking Nintendo. I don't know. Whatever was going on in 1984. But instead it's Ramirez fucking shows up again, fucking Jingle Jangle still in the peripheral. I don't know what's going on with his backstory of Ramirez, except there was a shadow and he had a seizure and now he hates everybody. Yeah. And then you got the one blonde chick that's still praising Jesus, even though bad things are happening all around. And then you got one chick.
Sounds like last Friday night.
Yeah, this literally was like last Friday night. And then you got one chick that's obsessed with herself, thinks that everything is all about her. Son of a bitch, it's not all about you, Linda. Fucking shit. And then you got steroid guy. What the hell, man? You got so many cool characters, and it's just they just threw them into a melting pot. It's let's see what happens.
Two really cool. We'll go with the positives first. Two really cool things that they did. The straight up 80s looking dude with the blonde hair. This dude shows up and he puts him in a car when they shut the camp down, and he's he's like, you called me daddy. And he shows the VHS tape of the gay porn that he was in. He was like, you don't come back to daddy and do more gay porns. I'm going to tell all your friends, and I'm going to send it to your aerobics instructors.
Well, the first thing of that scene, I thought he was gay. The guy that looks like Duran Duran. I thought he was gay until when he was like, okay, daddy. And then he was like, I ain't gay, dog. I did it for a check. And he's like, did Michael J. Fox ever do gay porn? I don't think so. I don't know. I was like, that's weird.
Those scenes were fun though. That was actually fun. That was the kind of okay, you stepped it up a level and you went a little bit crazy with it. I was
1.21 dildos.
This is actually fun. And then he's like, oh, what if I can find you someone better? And then they go and they peek into the shower, and then it reminded me of the scene in Tango and Cash when Tango and Cash are both showering in the prison together. It's like, whatever you say, Pee-wee, but they're all showering in there together, and the guy sees the dude from Glee's dick, and he's like, oh,
I love that guy.
He's that's not a dick, that's a god.
That guy is slowly becoming my favorite American Horror Story of all time character, because even after that one dude, the peeping Tom guy gets killed, and a most triumphant way, should I remind you, but it's he looked and saw that he was seeing him. He's like, he was checking me out. It's not concerned that he just had a fucking Rambo knife in his head and everybody else was scared. He's like, he was checking me out.
Yeah, that shit was good. It was a good clean kill. He puts the arrow through his head or whatever, and then they all find his body. That stuff was fun and it was interesting. That's the kind of stuff.
But that's what I want them to focus on.
Yeah, just the crazy batshit fun stuff. And then another cool scene was. What's her name?
The wedding.
It's not Emma Watson.
Emma Roberts.
Emma Roberts was talking to Billy Lord's character, who's hot. Criminals are hot.
So hot. Want to touch the hiney.
Aru. Aru. But
stop looking at this swan. Stop looking at this swan.
But what does he say about the porn? He's like it's Nudie Tuesdays. Nudie bag day.
No. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Anyways, she's talking to her about that, and she's like, "Oh no, I've already been through the most horrible shit you could ever be through."
She did.
And they showed her wedding, and that scene was crazy because the dude's standing there, and he was like, "I saw you at my fiance's house or whatever," and then out of nowhere he pulls out the gun and he starts shooting people, and that was one of those moments where it was like, I did not expect you to go all the way.
I didn't either. I saw it. I didn't see that shit coming. I thought he was gonna like leave her at the altar or something basic like that. But like, you fucking slut, and then walk out. But no,
White Wedding starts playing.
Yeah. I swear to God, because you've been to weddings before. Even if when it's your own, you're half asleep anyway at the altar. You're like, fuck, I just want to have sex with you. But then you're like, but you're sitting there. You imagine you're sitting at that wedding, and then that shit goes off, and it looks like, we just watched that WWF or WWE The Fiend shit. It's like The Fiend coming down with Sting and fighting, and you're like, holy fuck, this is the coolest thing ever. Dad, do you have your camera?
Whenever you're at a boring wedding, you're always hoping like shit goes crazy. Like right when it comes to the point where they say I do, like a sick part of you wants to go like, man, say I don't.
Dude,
but that went to the next fucking.
What if that was all a prank though, and that was just their weird sick sense of humor? They were like scaring all their guests, and they're like, we're just kidding, we like horror. I love you.
It would be the crowd like $20. She goes with 1 Corinthians, and that shit would be like, this is the best fucking wedding ever, dude.
Psalms 3:15 says, fuck yes.
Do you guys have Trulies or some White Claws? That would really put this over the top.
Trulies gum?
But that shit was good. Where they went downhill, and what AHS does so often is like the first episode, even the first episode of Roanoke, which ended up being like one of the shittiest seasons, the first episode was really good, and it drags you in, and it shows you these fun characters. And the first episode was great, man. Yeah. They gave you that whole 80s thing, and it was so fucking awesome. And they still had that here, but they completely let go of all that shit, and they went into the worst part of what AHS does sometimes. So they try to do too much, and it's a bunch of filler. Like they go into Richard Ramirez's backstory, and I'm sorry, I just don't like. He's interesting, but like Richard Ramirez himself is interesting, but with the plot going on with the campers and the shit that you're actually interesting. That you're actually interested in, his shit's just derivative.
That motherfucker looks like Robin Shue from the Jungle Book.
He looks like Beavis if you watch his eyes.
Yeah, he kind of does too. I don't know.
It's just derivative and it's filler, and like that none of this is gonna matter eventually, and they're just trying to get through the episode, and this episode had a lot of that shit. Man.
If I really wanted to watch a documentary on Ramirez, I would just fucking watch the documentary on Ramirez. There's a billion of them on YouTube, or just make the show about like various serial killers that were around at that time. I don't know. And there's also some weird fucking ghost shit going on. I don't know if there's time travel going on. I don't know if there's plutonium available, because I know it's hard to come by. Maybe in your time you can find it at any convenience store. But around here in 1955, it's really hard to come by.
But that was the worst part about it. When you go to the camper with the Indian satchel on his head or whatever, the time traveler guy who died in the first episode because he got hung on the door, and then he shows up again, and then Richard Ramirez slices his stomach, and that was really bad CGI, by the way. It just looked like like fucking Sierra's Quest, like fucking his stomach opens up. But then
it's like Austin Powers, like, why won't you die?
The whole thing with the time traveler like dying over and over again. Then you're like, okay, so is what we fear. Like, you're not just gonna go with the fun. Let's make a really good slasher season. They are trying to do some weird like fucking TV version of Sixth Sense type shit.
Yeah, but I thought that was gonna be later on that they were really gonna tip their hand. Like, goddamn, you really fucking went all out on that goddamn flush, and I got a straight flush. Like, it's like one of those things. Like, it's like a poker player that immediately, I got two pair, all in. I got two pair. And then the other guy sitting there smoking a cigar, like, I bet you still suck your mom's tit. 3 of a kind. I win. I just think that, God, man, I really hope they next episode doesn't look like they're clearing it up any better. I mean, we saw the preview for it, except there's 1 or 2 funny parts, it seems like. But again, the strengths of the episode that I saw last week versus what is the weakness of this episode and maybe going forward is the fact that they were just embracing the 80s feel of it, having fun with the parodying kind of, but also honoring Friday the 13th, Halloween, other kind of franchises that had come before, and just embracing the 80s. Like, I don't know, like this one, it just seems like they're saying, fuck it, man. Let's go all the way. Let's go all the way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You're doing too much, dog. You're doing too much. Like, it would have been so much more fun to have an 80s style slasher thing that lasts for 10 episodes and to really delve into these characters as these 80s kids and to just do it straight up. But you can already tell that they're going to try to do the fucking bait and switch. So we're going to blow your minds. Like, I don't want you to blow my mind. I just want you to be fucking entertaining. Right now, I'm just bored and you're doing too much. The Mr. Jingles was still cool. He had some good kills in there. He had the one that spiked through the head of the dude, and then also he kills the psychologist who I think is supposed to be she's the psychologist, she's not the victim, but she's dressed just like Jamie Lee Curtis. If you notice like what she's wearing, he does kill her.
Chick-fil-A whooped her ass.
Yeah, when she was stupid to be like, just automatically assume she just rolled down the window. It's like, you think you can change it? Yeah, thanks, whatever.
Then again, I do give them a pass on that. Since the mid '80s, even the one she's knocking on the door and be like, anybody home? Like, nobody does that nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
they'd be like, I'll text you. If you don't come out of your house, I know you're fucking dead. I'm going to go to the cops.
That reminded me of Jeepers Creepers, by the way, when he pulls out the spike thing that he put in her car. You remember when Jeepers Creepers made those weird fucking ninja stars out of people's belly buttons and shit? And he was like, oh, that's what reminded me of it. He kills her in a really badass fashion, and that stuff's all good and great, and the characters are still good.
Do you want me to stick my head? He goes, how about I get back there and push, pal? It was pretty obvious she was going to die from the get-go. They didn't set up anything juicy at all. Like, there was nothing juicy.
It's so juicy, bro.
There's no juiciness, bro. There's nothing about the episode that really, like, will linger in my mind, except for the white wedding scene. That was a pretty cool fucking scene. I will give them props for that. But everything else about it was generic as fuck. It felt boring. A lot of the interactions between the characters were few and far between, and when they did happen, they were great, but they didn't happen long enough. And then you get into the twisted Richard Ramirez bullshit they're trying to go with, and I'm not into WWE right now with what the Kane and, like, I mean, I don't want some theatrics. I just want a jingle jangle to fucking be stalking them like Jason's, and like everything else just taking its place in the natural order of things, Simba.
The least interesting character of all is the chick that was at the camp when it all happened, who's reopening it, the super Christian lady or whatever. I can't think of her name now.
I quit that fucking job so quick.
She's the least interesting person about it, and they're fucking shoehorning, like trying so hard to like tell her story and make her the most interesting, and she's actually the most boring. The funnest part is all these asshole campers who like dude with the big dick and the tiny shorts. I
love it.
All that stuff going on. That's where the action's
I don't love the big dick, but I love the guy.
I know what you mean.
Big dick's there though.
Yeah,
you can't deny it.
Night and day. The first episode was fucking awesome. This episode was bad. I did not like it at all. I'm still gonna watch. Obviously, we're gonna watch, but this was. If the first episode was the best of what AHS can do, this episode was a perfect epitome of the worst AHS can do, in my opinion.
I think it's a learning curve. I'm not gonna go. It was a bad episode. I can't say that it was a great episode. That it whatever nearly came close to how good the first episode was. However, if American Horror Story has taught us anything, is that it stumbles quite often trying to find its footing as it's going on. It usually happens later on in the episodes. Usually the first at least 3 fucking rounds, that goddamn fighter that you bet your house on, he's doing good work. And then Tyson knocks him the fuck out. You're like, well, son of a bitch. I guess I'm filing for divorce early because I just lost my whole goddamn work and job and life because of that boxer.
That's what it's like when I play FanDuel every weekend.
Yeah, it's whatever. But
really funny scene though is actually when they're in the van. That was probably the funniest moment of the whole show. Is when they're in the van and the dude's like, I don't want to die with a bad conscience. He was like, I did take those steroids, and Billy Lord's character was like, we fucking know, dude.
Yeah. Well, but either way, like, look, it might get better.
Sure.
I think it might. I don't know. I'd still like the setting. The setting is really what will keep drawing me in. And I think for a lot of you guys too, it's going to keep the people watching it because it's so cool the way that they've actually paid attention to the details of that time period and they're actually going for it. And I like that part. I do like that part a lot. And even if they're throwing in like, White Wedding and Billy Idol and shit, that's fucking badass. And the music choices. But it's just, you can have all the peripheral stuff. You can have the background setting and a really awesome fucking cake, but then you can take a giant shit in it and cover it up with icing and be like, here you go. Here's your wedding cake.
Yeah, stop pooping in my
There's
cake.
poop in the middle of it.
AHS.
Don't worry about it. But we'll see what happens. Yeah. Anyway.
Stop pooping in our cake.
Not so good.
We love your fucking faces. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn wham up in
there. You go.
Again, the music was still fucking badass.
So good, yeah.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched a movie.